nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Time for wondering why. This is no moment is now. About to decide. Let them leaving behind. Keep me near. Just know, whatever life is, I'll be there by your side. You said, baby, it's over. Only if you want it to be. Oh, say I'm back. Here's your miracle. Every time. Thank you, you what you do, no one can tell you all you know. Oh, you ain't such a far go. It's not a you know. Ain't gonna bring you what you Kenny Loggins, everybody.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truth.
The recording has started.
And the Most Just. I greet all of you who have the hunger and thirst for righteousness.
This conference is being recorded.
I greet you all with the greeting word. May Allah, salam alaikum. I want to cut right to the Holy Scripture here. And I want those of you who are Eastern Muslims, those who are of the old Islam. The reason we say old Islam is because it is written that when the Son of Man shall come, shall he find faith on the earth? The answer is no. I am here to bring faith. So that which people had faith in before I arrived, that is has to be made new. And that is what needs to be corrected. If I say something that you take offense at, I'm willing to discuss it with you. You don't have to throw insults. You don't have to call yourself threatening to me. All you need to do is bring your facts or things that you deem to be facts, and you can present it. And if I cannot show you facts that prove that what you presented is not for facts are truth. Fact is reality. Like that song says at the end, it says, "No one knows what the future holds. Nobody knows what the future holds." Well, that's because there ain't gonna be no more prophets. The prophets knew what the future had, and they prophesied it. But after the coming of the Lord Himself, then Solomon's words of "there is nothing new under the sun. That which has been will be. That which will be is that which has already been." And so Solomon called it all vanity. Well, Solomon may not have seen nothing new, but it's written, "He that sitteth upon the throne said, Behold, look here, I make all things new." Including and especially religion. The Holy Quran refers to the Eastern world. Whether you talk about Jerusalem, those who refer to themselves as believers in Moses, that call themselves Jews, which the term Jew is not even the correct term for it. The correct term is huge. And as when Jesus says for salvation is of the Jews, that's a misrepresentation. Salvation is not of the Jews. Salvation is of the Jews, because the Jews are the ones who give birth to the Savior. They give birth to the Lamb of God. Jews are what gives birth to Lamb. There's no such thing as a Jew giving birth to a lamb. But if you're going to use the metaphor lamb, then you have to use the metaphor ewe for the ones who give birth to the lamb. Do you understand? Look up lamb ewe, and you will discover that it is a female sheep. And so, as the scripture teaches you of the woman, it says, let the woman remain silent in the church. And before she could say anything, he said, "What? Came the word from you or to you?" In other words, you didn't offer this word. We brought it to you. Okay. But at the same time, the messengers of God, the truth was the truth before it came to them. Do you understand? So then they were in the position of the female. And that's why the mind that they would give birth to is referred to as their son and their lamb. As David said, we are his people and the sheep who brought his pasture. Do you understand? And the pasture is what you put a lamb out in for him to eat. So if the scripture told me to take the book and eat it up, then it's my pasture. And so I'm the lamb. As the messenger said, this is for the little black baby. He said, "What little black baby?" Well, I ain't a baby no more. But back in 73 and 74, I was just a baby in knowledge. I was a child in my understanding. And so the messenger knew I would grow out of that. Just like thinking that everything black is God and everything white is devil. He knew I would grow up. realize that they say you go by color because you didn't know he was up under the color. The first one that the word was with, Scripture say that's God. Well, then who is God? God is the original man, the first man. That's who the word was with first. Well, who is the first man? The first man is the black man. So the black man is God. If you looking for God, you have to look to the black nation first, which makes us the father of all other human beings. If we are not the father of other human beings, we are not the God. But if you can't prove that you came from somewhere other than our semen, then you have to recognize that the original man is God. Everybody else is mankind. Kinds of men that exist in the black man. Do you understand? So, I'm not here to ridicule or make fun. A foolish father makes fun of his own children. You know, I want to talk about many things today, but first I want to clear up this misunderstanding. When we all died or became ignorant to the true knowledge of religion, we were all Muslims. Muslim is a term which means one who submits to do the will of God. It was God's will that the one that the first Adam, most people, they misunderstand, and so you need both scriptures to understand what's really being said. And if you don't have them both, you will never understand either one of them. It's like a person thinking that they can get along with two molecules or two atoms of hydrogen. Don't need oxygen. If you want water, you're gonna need the oxygen too. Huh? That's the way people are with the Holy Scriptures. They think they can get by the people over in the East. You'll probably go in their mosque. I've never been over there to visit their mosque, but you go in their mosque, you probably never see a Bible. They think the Holy Quran is sufficient. And yet, if you ask them what are the pillars of faith, they will agree that the second pillar of faith is that you must believe in all of the prophets and in all of their scriptures. Then we said, well, why don't you have a Holy Bible here to go along with the Holy Quran? And then they would say, because the Bible's been tampered with. Yes, the Bible has been tampered with. But then where's the one that haven't been tampered with? And they don't produce one. And then you say, well, how can you say you believe in a book that you don't have? Then we're going to get mad. But you get mad all you want, but I'm telling you, you can't tell that lie to me. I believe in the Holy Bible. I believe in the Holy Quran. Where's my proof of it? I got them both up here with me, open, and I'm teaching out of it. If you say it's been tampered with, well, that's no argument. Both of these books been tampered with. I can get you a Yusuf Ali version of the Holy Quran, and it does not read exactly like the Muhammad Ali version. And which version is good? Both of them is good. But in order for them to be good, you got to know what part to take and what part to throw away. It's just like the sun. The sun does not draw up the water and pick to it. The sun don't draw up number one. That's how it purifies the ocean. You can't go drink out the ocean. It's unfit to drink. But if we go by what you say, since the ocean been tampered with, and we say we don't want it, we going to the ones with the Holy Quran, the one part with the Holy Quran, that's like them having pure oxygen. And that's why you got so much turmoil and warfare on the earth, because hydrogen, they don't take but oxygen, pure oxygen. That's what caused those astronauts that got burned up. I remember when I was a youngster in a space shuttle, not a shuttle, but a space capsule. A spark from the electrical system caused the oxygen to ignite. The pure oxygen they had in that capsule to ignite and burn those men up. They've learned what the Creator has shown us in the first place. That the mixture of oxygen and the nitrogen in the atmosphere is what keeps it from exploding into fire when you see lightning strike or whatever. You don't want to be in a room full of pure oxygen. You got to mix that stuff. And if you're gonna be in there with some pure oxygen, you better be mindful of what you're doing. Well, this is people. The scriptures were given to you for you to realize that God's thoughts are not your thoughts. His understanding of what he says is not your understanding. And the Holy Quran says, to him whom Allah gives no light of understanding, he has none. That's how you know that he's the supreme one. You can't even guess on his understanding without his help to do that. What no eye has seen, no ear has heard, nor in his heart even conceived. That's what's stored up in these scriptures. You notice the way I teach, the things that I share with you, nobody ever even thought of these things. When I ask you, when I suggested to you that the universe is infinite, it just goes on and on, no matter what direction you go. And it's full of balls, like the earth, but not like the earth. A woman comes here with tens of thousands of eggs, born with them. And yet, she don't use, if she used 20, they think they done did something. Out of tens of thousands of them? That alone tells you he was meant for more. In an infinite universe, why do we have to die? Why do we need death? No. We don't need death except for a purpose, to keep an imperfect man from living forever and messing up our universe. The wages of sin they so miserable that they cannot justify why they should be happy unless they can look at people that have nothing. And then they can say, well, I'm really good. You mean you had to see me be poor in order to recognize?
Unmuted. Muted.
It's because you done found out the truth. That wealth, having plenty of good, plenty of money, That don't bring peace. You're still just as empty as you was before you had anything. You see, ain't nobody arguing. And yeah, poor people, they look at wealthy people and they say, oh, why, if I had all that money, I'd be. Oh, would you? You ever seen a satisfied, wealthy man yet? Have you met him? The more you get, it's just like the man that used to would have thought he had something. He had $1 million house. Give him $1 billion and a $50 million house. Ain't much to it. Because there's only one way that you can achieve. What's the word of that? Roll it ready. I like the Rolling Stone version. When I'm driving in my car, and a man comes on the radio telling me more and more about some useless information trying to vex my imagination, I can't get no sense. Right? When I'm watching my TV and a man comes on and tells me how white my shirt can be, but I can't be a man that don't smoke the same cigarettes that he. I can't get no sense. I remember the terrorists in the murder. Y'all, I know y'all. I'd rather fight than fight. He had a black guy, some terrorists and cigarettes. But anyway, I was just but nothing can satisfy man but being at one. And obey him. Then all of this other stuff that we put so much stock in, thinking that it was going to bring happiness, that stuff becomes something. Not that we don't go after the house, the car, the clothing, and all of that. But everything that man goes after in this world, he goes after because he thinks it will bring him peace. But I've already told you where peace comes from. Both books. The Holy Bible says God is the God of peace. It's not of confusion. The Holy Quran says Allah is the author of peace and not of confusion. There. You want peace? Then return to Almighty God Allah. Return yourself. You've turned away from God after all these inventions. As it says, well, God has made man or created man upright, but they have sought out many of their own inventions. Yes, that's proof. Proof of that. Look at all these religions you got. You can't find these religions. You got Mormonism, Scientology, Baptist faith, Methodist faith, and all that. Those are your inventions.
You sought out them inventions because you wanted to be God. You didn't want to serve God. You wanted to be God. What did the devil tell Adam and his wife? So he, you become as God. They must have wanted that. That's why they ate off the tree. You think Eve didn't tell Adam, well, you know, this is good. We didn't know what God knew. And he said, yeah. Right? It's just like when I said, well, you said, well, you said you God. No, I didn't say I was God. Jesus said I was God. Moses said I was God. All of them said the Lord, he is God. And they said the Lord is the Son of Man. He's the Lord of time. He's the Lord of the Sabbath day. Just like you look at that movie, that series called Doctor Who. The very name of Doctor Who. When asked, well, who, Doctor Who are you? Don't no man know who the Son is but the God. So that's Doctor Who. Why doctor? Because he's a healer. When the Son of Righteousness is come, he will have healing in his wings. Well, if he's gonna have healing, he's a doctor. Well, who is he? That's the question. Who is the Son of Man? You hear people talking about, you ain't no Son of Man. Man, and I ask them, well, how would you know? Are you the Father? And if you're not the Father, how you gonna know who the Son is? And you couldn't be the Father because the Son is the one that has to reveal who the Father is. That's why it's written, I and my Father are one, just like you and yours. And you wouldn't have figured that out if I hadn't told you that your Father is your mind. And the body is always at one with the mind. So I wanted you to see, there's some things I want to show you because I had an experience today that I'm going to share with you. But this is the 15th chapter of 1 Corinthians. And then I want you to go to the 15th chapter of the Holy Quran. So 15 and 15. So in the 15th chapter of 1 Corinthians and the 45th verse. Now look what it says. And so it is written. Well, if it's written, it was prophesied. The first man, Adam, notice, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit, a mind that causes the other mind to grow. You know, most people, they look, the universe is infinite, full of finite things. The scientists have taught us, they have taught us that the most plentiful substance or element in the universe is hydrogen. And look what we are made of. Hydrogen and water. I mean, what's intelligence? If you're going to farm yourself out of something, well, why not use something that's plentiful? Is that right? So we are mostly water, right? And if you got a whole bunch of us out here, it's like when you see mass meetings, it's like when you saw that million man march that 2 million people showed up at. That's what you said. And that Martin Luther King presidential swearing in and whatnot. You see just a sea of people out there, right? A red sea. Our water, the blood that's in us, is red because of the iron that we have. That's what the medical professionals have taught me or told me. I ain't coming up with that on my own. I'm just remembering what I was told. Do you understand? See, I'm not the kind of person who try to act like I brought some knowledge here. I just paid attention to people who had studied things, and they, just like Master Farad Muhammad, his father went and found a word or two from this one and a word or two from that one, and he brought it back and taught it to his son. And his son said something that his father did that. Master Farad Muhammad, his father brought him that knowledge. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad brought me much knowledge. Jesus brought me much knowledge. All of them taught me. I'd like you to introduce me to the one who nobody has teaching. That's the one I want to see. Oh, you was born a woman and you came here knowing something. When you climb off that high horse and get on a mule, and let's you remember that Jesus, he didn't go get no stallion. He got a ass's coat, and he came riding in on a donkey. Is that right? Wealthy people don't come here and ride on a donkey. Proud people don't sit no donkey to ride on. And that's showing you that he was humble. You see? It's just like people. I was listening to Donald Trump today, and he was talking, and he said that people is invading the company. He didn't say country. He said the company, and not one news report caught it. These people don't listen. You don't know how to listen. You're too arrogant. Then you're always coming back misquoting somebody. If you don't hear what's said, you hear what you want to hear. A judge can't do that. A judge can't make up his own testimony. He has to judge the people by the testimony they gave, not by what he would have preferred to hear. You rest assured, when you talking to me, I'm hearing you. Oh yeah, I'm hearing you. So now you got two Adams here. How many preachers ever taught you that? But the scripture refers to one as the first one, and the other one as the last one. Then another one comes, that's the Lord, and he says, I am the first and the last. I'm the product of the natural ruler and the spiritual ruler. The two have been made one in my head. I'm the first complete man. I'm the original man that everybody else got to be like. That's what the scripture says. It does not yet appear what we shall be. It says, behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Why? They were the light givers for the Lord himself. They were the sons, S-U-N, me. In him was life, and the life was the light of those men. How did he get in me? Son of man, eat up the book. Then in me is life. Jesus said, the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Then when I ate up Jesus' words and ate up Moses' words, then the life was in me. And that life was the light of understanding of those men whom the scripture referred to as God. I have said, ye are God. All of you are children of the best knower, the Most High. See? So the Son became the Father, and the Father became the Son. Do you understand? And they acknowledge that. And after saying that we should be called the sons of God, he said, and it does not yet appear what we shall be, but we shall be like him when he appears. Well, I've made my appearance. And you see that all of them are like-minded to me. You didn't know that they was all agreeing with me until I started speaking. Then you start to see that they all agree with me. What you also didn't know was that the first man, Adam, was the devil. The mind that was in him, that's the devil. The last Adam is the angel. And the one who made them both is God. And God said he was going to create a man with both of his hands. Or that's me. That's why I had to suffer slavery. I had to be born from slaves. And in all of your afflictions, black brothers and sisters, I was afflicted. Just like you scatter white folks and don't want to admit it. I admit it, I was scattered in. Just like you. You was as tough as you claim to be, but well, no white people be running around killing you and not being afraid. Well, you ain't so tough. You just fronting. But the first step to overcoming fear is to recognize that it's there and then face it. I remember I was looking at Wyatt Earp, well, not Wyatt Earp, Tombstone, and Wyatt walked in the bar because this old fella was over there. I mean, he's just bullying everybody. And Wyatt asked the bartender, "Why? It's a nice place. Why ain't no customers in here?" He said, "You see that bird over there? That thing? He done ran all of the major high rollers away." He said, "Well, why don't you just tell him to leave?" He said, "It's easy for you to say." Wyatt walked over there to him, and he's sitting there woofing and going, "Oh, Wyatt asked him," he said. The man looked up at Wyatt and said, "Something on your mind?" And, said it real tough, And Wyatt said, "You sitting in my seat." And he said, "For a man that don't go heels, you talking mighty tough, man." And Wyatt looked at him and said, "Don't need to go heels on a bird like you." And so he stood up and pushed the chair all back out of the way. And he said, "Mister, I'm real scared." And Wyatt looked at him and said, "You damn right you scared. I can see it in your eye." and he said, then Wyatt slapped him. Now, all these other people thought he was so tough. And White slept. And he stood there and he started bleeding. So he smacked him again. He said, pull that smoke weapon and go to work. Oh, that's a good movie. I really, I always did like to see bullies get what they had done. You want to get me into a movie? Just show me good versus evil. Yeah, I always like to see evil get what it's got done. So before it was over with, Wild asked me, are you going to do something or are you going to just stand there and bleed? So he grabbed him by the ear, man, and said, you come on, youngster. And he showed him the door. And so he, it wasn't that Wyatt was a bully. He didn't like bullies either. But the difference in him and that man that he slapped was even when Wyatt knew that a bully that he had saw was going to kill him, Wyatt went to face him. Now, that's what bravery is. Bravery is not going up against somebody that you know ain't got no win against you. Bravery is when you go up against somebody that you don't think you might have a win against. But you go because it's the right thing to do. And guess who we learned that from? I learned that from white people. All through history, you saw them. Look, they didn't have no business winning that war against England. England had the professional army. The colonies didn't have none but some farmers. But right was on their side. God is always with you when you fight a tyrant. You ain't got no business humbling yourself to a tyrant. Get up off your knees, down on your feet, but don't kowtow to a bully, because all you're doing is giving him more power. You understand? So these two Adams, the first one was the devil. And look what his maker told him. He said, go and have dominion over the earth and subdue it. Now you see why he's able to make drills and bombs and stuff that'll go down in the earth and get you up on the ground and stuff, blow up stuff. Huh? He move them out. Put some dynamite in there, plant a stick of dynamite in there, and say to that mountain, be thou removed. Is that right? And it moved. You've been believing in spookism. It ain't about spookism. I mean, even the volcanoes and things that you see, the mountains on the earth, they didn't just come up. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me that at one time the whole earth was just round, smooth. It had no mountains. It had tall trees, only like them big things that up there in Sequoia. And them trees, you notice, those trees live thousands of years. They took the place of mountains, but they died. So the wisdom of the black man was, okay, we will raise up mountains, and that will keep the earth from being convulsed with us. You remember when they cut down all of the trees and they had to cut what was called a dust bowl? They found out that this earth is a plan. You can't just go around changing stuff. You start changing stuff, next thing you know, now you see they leave tree lines in between fields. So that all that topsoil gets blown away. You go out on the desert. Listen, well, there ain't no whole lot of mountainous ranges. Wind all the time. Just wind blowing. Yeah. You see, that jet stream would be right down here where we standing if it wasn't for the mountain. That's right. It's much that we have to learn to understand respect for the Creator. And now, I couldn't stand here and tell you this if Allah was not with me. That's his way of showing. He didn't just tell the angels to bear me witness. He said, and I too am of the bearers of witness with you, son of man. Behold my servant, whom I bear witness to. That's what behold my servant, whom I uphold. You know how what happens when you come up and you see two people arguing, and you say, "Oh man, wait a minute. He's telling you right. Yo, you're gonna uphold him now." I'm just telling you the truth. That's what's meant. When you uphold someone, you bear them witness. You don't hear no. You notice they even show you on the news how the jet stream dips. Is that right? Wouldn't have to dip if it wasn't for them mountains. So that's one of the reasons why we have a lot of trees and stuff that grew up on the earth to be windbreakers. You understand? Yeah. The earth is a plan. It's a plan for eternity. A planet. Since we know that matter, you can destroy matter to try to make something into nothing. You can't even make a grain of sand go out of existence. The only thing you can do is change the form that it's in. You crush it, make dust out of it, then you make it disappear. But it's still there. Knowing that, look at here, everything that's in it came out of it. It keeps changing form and matter just being rearranged and go back in there. Look, we eat the cow eat grass. The grass changes form. The nutrients in the grass nourishes flesh. And they become a cow. Change matter, changing form. Then the cow dies and go back to being grass again. And it's just a continuous cycle. And this is the design until we perfect ourselves. Then we can live literally until we get tired. The universe, I don't know what you'd be getting tired for, since the universe is infinite. There's always a new frontier to check out. So we could do that together. But you'd rather stay here and fight over stuff you printed out called money. That's what you rather. You rather stay here fighting stuff. Well, I've got news for you. You ain't gonna stay here fighting. We didn't create this for fight. This is created for unity, peace. You either get with your program or you ain't gonna be here. And your money ain't gonna help. As that song James Brown said, money won't change. But time will take you home. Huh? We got to put up with you for long. What is it? If 1,000 years ain't no more than a day in the eyes of the Lord, what is your little 90 or 100 years? You didn't last so long. You last about as long as far as the earth is concerned, that's trillions of years old. I didn't say billions. The earth is trillions of years old as it is now. It's older than that, than trillions, because it's from eternity. What is the lifespan of a spermatozoa, a life germ of man compared to man? Now, to that life germ, 3 days or whatever is a long time. But compared to what it could have been, that thing don't live long enough to even be considered. To even talk about it. You get up in the womb, you got 3 days to find your way to live longer or die. You just be absorbed in the body of the woman and you out of it. Change you into something else. Huh? You never know what you meant because you couldn't think that far. You had to get in this form in order to understand how short your life really was in relationship to how long it is now. Do you understand? Okay. So I wanted you to see, now in the Holy Quran, it says in the 26th verse of that 15th chapter, it says, and surely we created man of sound and clay. Remember it said that sound went throughout the earth? Yeah. It says, of black mud fashioned into shape of ex-slaves of white people. You see? I came out of the ex-slaves of white people. From black people fashioned into the shape of slaves. That's why you didn't want independence. That's why you turned the Honorable Elijah Muhammad down. Because you've been fashioned into the shape of just wanting to have a job working for white people. So when he tried to convince you to unite, pool your resources, and do for yourself, you rejected him and called him a hate teacher. You did that. And you the people that Allah said he's going to fashion me from. Of sounding clay, of black mud, fashioned into the shape of a clay. And in all of your affliction, I inherited that. You see, in all of their affliction, he was afflicted. You're sitting up talking about Jesus, your Savior. Jesus ain't never been nobody's slave. Jesus wasn't born from no slave either. So the affliction of slavery never afflicted him. So how could he be the one that they're talking about? If you think you don't believe I'm the Son of Man now, if I told you everything that I done experienced in my life, you sure wouldn't believe I'm the Son of Man. I done seen some stuff and done did. That's why I just say to you, like Jesus told the woman, when they bring you to me, wanting to stone you or whatever, that don't mean I like what you were doing. I understand how you could in them did it. But after I speak to you, you're going to be held accountable. I told you, stop. Okay. What's the meaning of Muslim? One who submits to do the will of God. Why you think in James, the 4th chapter and the 7th verse, it says, submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil. You don't have no power to resist. Your willpower ain't worth nothing. So I don't make you depend on your will. You are told to depend on my judgment and to obey me. A child don't have to have no strong will to not play in the street. All you got to do is obey his parents. He may want to go out there, but he fears that whipping that he's going to get if he get out there and he die. I ain't going out there. That gives him the power to resist them devils that's telling him go play in the street and get ran over by a cop. Go do stuff that's going to put you in danger and you ain't got sense enough to know it. So your parent tells you that you better not do this. Top of the hour? Okay. So.
You're watching WHBS. Island Park.
Right on.
Island Park. WVIH 107.3 FM show. Ammonia, Virgin Islands. Now you can watch WHCR TV 33 on Fire Stick. Catch all of your favorites. Stay informed. Don't miss a minute of your favorite talk show. Call, text, tweet, vote. WHCR TV 33 is worldwide on Fire Stick. For more information, go to FireStickTVNetwork.com or call us at 313-868-612. WHCR TV 33 or watching broadcast. We would like to invite Unity and Rebuilding. This is the website www.unityandrebuildingfunds.com. That's www.unityandrebuildingfunds.com. Love to hear how unique what we do. We're actually, you can make online donations and put one link to the park.
What happened to the TV?
More information.
Oh, okay. All right, it's up there.
You're watching WHBS, Island Park, Detroit. FM WHBR, Island Park, WVIH 107.3 FM show, Ammonia, Virgin Islands.
So you see where it says in 1 Corinthians that there are two Adams. The first one is natural, the last one is spiritual. Let's read that part. It says, howbeit, that's the 46th verse. That was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural. And afterward, that which is spiritual. Now, the first man is of the earth, earthy. That's why if you want to know anything about the physical earth and about physical matter, you have no choice but to listen to white people. Man can tell you about the atomic structure. Look how he's, even though, I don't know if they've changed it now, but as he said, no one has actually ever seen an atom, but they know its structure by study. And as you look at the atomic, you notice they have a table of elements, and then they have the atomic weight of all of those things. What each shell has that makes that atom unique from others. Do you understand? I mean, the man was given a mind that was superior to every other mind, and then charged to have dominion over every other mind and put that mind in everybody else. Do you understand? That's the only way he could. You see, as long as you think that the flesh, that the white man is the one ruling, even many of them think that. It's not, that's why they didn't have sense enough to recognize what they had with President Obama. They didn't have sense enough to recognize what they had with President Kennedy. With many of those worthy men that were presidents of the United States, it wasn't his flesh that was doing all of the maneuvering and doing all of those great things for this country. It was the mind that they had produced in that man. And then they crippled their own school system. Poor, pitiful thing. Because they thought everything was wrapped up in flesh. They thought the flesh was the big thing. Well, you know, I mean, it's over now. You go either get with my program. I'm talking about the mind that's in me is one thing. You haven't got no knowledge to overcome nothing I say. All you can do is sit there and listen and either rejoice or hate me, but you sure can't argue. I know what you know, but you don't know what I know. So, that first man, look what it says. The first man is of the earth, earthy. In the Holy Quran, it says if all the oceans that's on this planet were ink, and all of the trees were pens to dip in and write from, and you brought twice that much, the oceans would be exhausted before the words of my Lord. Why do you think I can stand up here and talk to you for hours and hours and hours, and I can teach you on something and come back and teach you on that same thing and give you more understanding on it, and yet not contradict the first thing I talked to you about? It's something I heard W.D. Muhammad say once. I didn't so much as hear him say it, but I was told that he said it, and it made sense. He said, one drop of water can be expanded over 1,500 times. One drop. That's just another way of saying that knowledge can always be increased. The key to know is what you want to accomplish. It's just like pie. You know, as you go and look at the Perfect Circle, the company that makes rings for pistons and all of that kind of thing. When you are trying to leave enough space between things for 1,000, if you want to get your set-fill tool, your tool and die machine, your machine for making something, or your mold for making something, if you want to be accurate within 10,000 or 50,000, then you take pi out to that digit, to that fraction, and then you multiply times that fraction, and it tells you what the setting on your micrometer should be, and that kind of thing. But this is these are things that we learn from the man that God made and gave a mind that could go into the earth and discover those. And then he ordered the rest of us to submit to him. Whether we wanted to or not, he knew our he knew the nature of us as, rebellion. An ignorant mind is always a rebellious mind. Because an ignorant mind thinks it knows more than it really does. And does not have something enough to realize that maybe this mind that's addressing you may know something you don't know. And so he said, well, I can do it. I can do it. And because he's hasty. We are created in a state of haste. Because we are created, we are born ignorant. And an ignorant mind don't take long to make a decision about anything. Because there's not much in there going on no way to reason with. So you always make a decision that's hasty. And generally one that you regret later. So the book says that as is the earthy, as is the white man, so are they that are earthy. And that's what you notice. Al Jolson, he put on blackface and left the white around the mouth showing and the eyes and all that kind of thing. Even the priests, they wear the black garb, but right there in the middle of the throat is a white piece, because the words that's coming out are his words, and he put them in black skin. He put them in black people. He went all over the earth. When he found the Native Americans, those were black people he found. And he conquered them. He subdued them. And began, many of the Native Americans, they will admit that actually the civilization that this man has built up is far better and greater in many ways than what they had. There weren't no steel mills and all of this modern conveniences that you have now. And it wouldn't be here now if that man hadn't came in here. To show you, God knew what he was doing when he put them in charge for 6,000 years. He told them, you have 6 days to do all your work. And a day with the Lord is as 1,000. He said, but the Sabbath day shall be a holy day. Well, what was them other 6 days? Had nothing to do with holiness. That's why all your religions ain't nothing but a pile of filthy rags, because the word of God. You haven't produced no righteous people. Like, any of you out there that claim you righteous, come in here and let me have a conversation. You are self-righteous. Your righteousness is not of Allah. It's not of God. It's of yourself, which is no righteousness at all. At least the white man, he's in a way honest about not knowing about righteousness, because he don't let nobody call himself teaching the Bible. I don't care how much he claimed to believe in the Bible. He ain't never taught the Bible in public school. But he don't know nothing about that book. You do what you want to do with it on the weekend. And all during the week at your so-called Bible studies and all this kind of stuff. But, he know you don't know what you're talking about. And now that I'm speaking to you, you know you don't know what you're talking about. Or you came in here and asked me for that $20,000 after you showed me that you do know what you're talking about. So, as the earthly man was, look at all over the earth now. Anytime, all of you, whether you Chinese, Japanese, Russian, well, the Russian is a white man too, but there wasn't no stock market in Russia before the stock market was in America. Huh? No, no. It is. You notice Batman, that character Batman. Most people don't know the significance of that. They don't know the hidden moral in that. Batman's city was called Gotham City, right? That's another name for New York. Did you know that? Okay. And what was Batman? He dressed up like a bat because a bat, he see real good in the dark. Right? While everybody else was in the dark about the creation and its true nature, the nature of the matter in the universe, the white man was cataloged. Because he's the Batman. Do you understand? And he rich too. Batman was rich, man. Had all kind of fancy toys and stuff that he could get you there. The white man got all fancy toys that he can get you there. Is that right? And if you get too way out, then he got a police force that he done put together. He can come and get you and take you off the street. You put up with some of your foolishness. Because he ain't here to be righteous. He wasn't here to be righteous. He was here to study the earth and put what he knows in the head of everyone so that for a little while he would be ruling everybody from within. Even when you thought you was doing your thing, where did you get that idea from? And it was his thing. The trouble is, some of them didn't have that enough notice. That's why they couldn't recognize their own reflection in the mirror because it had on a different suit. That's like a man putting on a black suit and going in the mirror and can't recognize himself until he put on a white. You know, I recognize the white man. Don't care what color he comes to me. I know what I'm dealing with. White skin don't run nothing. Black skin don't run nothing. You're talking about two slaves there, two suits. That's all. The mind that's in that person, that's the real person. So this man got to the point he couldn't even recognize himself. Silly. So it's U.S.O.N. as a ruler, because one greater have arrived. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. That's why you notice I don't have to cuss at you. I don't have to insult you. When you say something I disagree with, I just question you and put forth arguments to show you that what you're saying is not valid. You can't do that with me. So you chose to come in and cuss at me, swear, say all kind of hateful things as though that's going to get you somewhere with me. That don't get you nowhere with me, but hell. So it says, and as is the heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly. You notice, when you read what one prophet had to say, Jesus said, what is when one of you was asked, what is the great commandment? And Jesus told him, when the man asked him, what shall he do to inherit the kingdom? He said, do the law. He said, well, I do that. He said, which of the commandments is greatest? He said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, and all thy mind, and all thy strength. And then Jesus said, and thy neighbor as thyself. Right? Then the man wanted to know who your neighbor is. He said, well, who is my neighbor? And Jesus gave him the parable of the Samaritan. And he said, a priest, a Christian, and a rabbi, a Jew. That's who's been ruling the world, Christians and Jews. There was a man beat up and robbed and left for dead. And a priest came by to where the man was and passed by him on the other side, left him there. And a rabbi came on the other side. And likewise, he too left the man there. Then a Samaritan came and climbed down off of his beast and healed, bandaged up the man's wound and put him on his own beast and took him to an inn and told the innkeeper, here's 2 things. That whatever he have need of, see to it, and when I return, I will take it. And then Jesus asked, now which of them was neighbor to the man that had been beat up and robbed? And he said, the one that helped him. He said, well, then you go and do likewise. When everybody was coming to the black community, setting up stores in our community, getting rich and taking our money, they were strip mining the black community. We patronizing their stores, they wasn't fixing our sidewalks, they wasn't fixing our streets, they wasn't doing nothing. They was just taking, putting nothing back. The Christians and the Jews, I remember the Jews had stores all up and down 103rd Street in Watts, where I grew up. They was making a killing. Martin's Furniture, you name it, it was there. And other Japanese, then Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, it's right there in say it right now. Our community has been used to nurture others to strength, while nobody really cares what happened to us. Do you know how insulting it is for you to come into anyone's community and feel that you need to deal with them from behind bulletproof glass? And they still support your store, not even realizing how much of an insult that is. And at the same time, you don't try to teach. You don't try to share with us. You call us savages. Let's see, you go through 400 years of mistreatment like we have. Let's see how civilized you come out. Now, I'm not trying to condemn those people who are here. I'm trying to show you how little you understand about the history of the black people in America that you're so quick to condemn. I don't hear you condemning the people who put us in this condition. They hear me talking. If I was lying on white people, they would say something. Fact check me. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Farad Muhammad, he climbed off of that high horse and came into our people's community looking like a white man. You know, white folks is the only one that we listen to anyway, but we had a favorite thing. A nigga can't tell me nothing. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad heard Master Farad Muhammad teaching, he walked up to him after the meeting, and I will get into this Savior's Day. I will share this history with you. Savior's Day. But he told him, he said, I know who you are. You're God himself. You're that Son of Man that the world has been expecting. And Master Farad Muhammad gave him a kind of stern look. Told him, he said, he leaned over to his ear and he said, yes, But who knows that? And you be quiet. And then he began teaching him how and what to teach to the rest of us. He said the first thing that needs to be done is the black man that's calling himself a Negro and a colored man, and all these names that he was tricked into believing about himself by the one who enslaved him. He needs to be taught the knowledge of who he is, who he really is. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he taught us that he was here to mentally resurrect us, not spiritually, mentally, to teach us who we are, who God is, and who the devil is. And he did. And while he was teaching us these things, when the messenger taught us that God revealed to him that the white man is the devil in the flesh, we call it hate teaching. Because the white man said he was teaching hate. And we had the mind that was in us came from white people. So it was easy for us to agree with white people because that's who we were. Grafted white people. And so we were like that man on the road to Jericho that had been beat up and robbed, and the Christians and the Jews just left us like that. But a Muslim came. When Master Farad Muhammad would be visiting our people, he'd sit down and eat dinner with them and that kind of thing, and be sharing with them. He had some what you call fabric material from the East, silks and that kind of thing. He'd be telling them about that, but at the same time teaching them some of the history of the black man. And he'd eat whatever they said before him, wouldn't it? He did that. And you notice gave some big to him. But he knew our people. And he loved them. So he did what he needed to do in order to reach us. Then he found, as Elijah found him, he found Elijah. And they wind up being attracted to each other. And then he taught him for 3.5 years. And then he told the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that now, you don't need me anymore. And then he left. The messenger, he didn't want him to leave. He said, oh, yes, I do need to. But the best knower had told him, you don't need me anymore. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad realized then, after his teacher had left him, and he grew, he realized that he was the second self of God Almighty. And he said that in the theology of time. He said, I'm the second self of God Almighty. I'm the second of the two. Well, God said, I will send you Elijah, the prophet. I was God. Elijah was the second. He was the Elijah. Before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And I'm the third one of that prophet. Because I'm the Lord. Do you understand? And if Elijah hadn't come first, I couldn't be here. Because he had to prepare me. I am the way. And Elijah was the messenger who had to prepare the way. You understand? So he prepared me and then told me I had to wait my time. Just like a child. When he's born, he can't be king as a baby. He's given over to tutors and people, the holy prophets. They are my tutors. He shall give his angels charge over them. Yeah. And that's why I obey whatever one of them said, I agree with. I ain't never try to argue with the prophet. If I didn't understand what he had to say, I didn't call him a lie. I said, oh, be glad when I can understand that. And so now, even though I'm their Lord, they were my tutors. But now I understand. So I want now to, as this book says, look how it's written in the Holy Quran. Now you know it was two ayahs, and the first one was natural, the last one was spiritual, right? Look what it says. And surely we created man of founding clay of black mud fashioned into shape, and the jinn we created before. If the jinn was created before, then the jinn was first. The jinn was the first man act. The mind that's in white people, that's called the jinn. Why? A jinn is also something that you set up as a trap. This world was set up for the perdition, to trap people who would love evil, who would love ungodliness, things that, to be godly. You don't know who wants to be godly until you put ungodliness out there and see who go headlong into it. And then when you call them out of it, see who will answer. So now we finding out who wants to be godly and who don't, because both worlds are now being made clear to you. So I'm the one that the scripture referred to as the first and the last. I am the first man, Adam, with the natural mind, and I am the last Adam, the spiritual mind. And by combining the two, it has given me a complete understanding of life and how it should be lived. I've been in the school of the greatest builder that ever hit this planet. That's the white man. And I've been in the school of the greatest builder of morals and upright that ever hit this planet. That's the problem. And I'm both of their sides. That's why I can, every you can tell when someone is the child of someone else. Look in their blood. Look at what I share with you, and look at what they've taught in their school system. You don't have to wonder where I got it from. Look at what the prophets taught, and you'll find their gene, their genetic code, their spiritual gene in me too. There's no doubt that they are my father. And I don't have to be ashamed to acknowledge my father. It's just like, now I had an experience today, and I'm not going to hold you much longer. I'm going to close out at 11 o'clock. And I got to hit the highway, got to get back down there and get busy. But I had an experience today that just, for lack of a better word, it blew my mind. One of the brothers, one of my followers, he went to a Tesla dealer in Houston, and he test drove their SUV and their car, and he came back and told me that because I had told him to look into it, and so he finally did. And he told me, he said, "Oh man, if you, all I can say is you get in one of them vessels, and you won't want your vet no more." And I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Were you convinced of that?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, look in the leasing." He said, "No, no, no. I want you to drive." And so, because I was coming up here to Detroit, he called and made an appointment for me to test drive. And it the day that he set the appointment, I couldn't be there. But so me and the man we rescheduled. And so we went up there today, Brother Derek and myself. We went over to the Tesla. Excuse me for saying Tesla. It's Tesla. We went to their agent over there in the mall, and so we got in the car. Now, the man told me, he said, he started explaining everything. I mean, he started turning buttons on. And I said, well, since it's all electric, I guess you don't have to wait on it to heat you. When you turn the heat on, you get immediate heat. He said, that's right. And then I noticed the seats were getting warm. He said, all of the seats are heated too. I said, well, how much, we had asked him how many miles we could get to a charge. And he said 300 generally. And before, and I said, is that before you start looking for a place to recharge? He said, yes. He said, and it also tells you where the nearest charging stations are and how far to go and how to get there. So we were talking. I said, and he pulled up a map to show all of the recharging places, and they're all over the country. I mean, just a map full of them. And I said, so this was going on while the Obama administration was in office. He said, yeah. He said they were subordinate. And so I said, with all of this stuff you turning on here, how soon is it gonna run that battery down? He said, well, with everything on and if you turn everything on, you probably lose, instead of getting 300 miles, you probably get 290. This is what we took off. And so he was driving at first. And so we just ran, and the car ain't no motor running, and then it's just electric. You just touch the pedal and then you take off. And so I was sitting there enjoying it. Man, this is nice. And he said, now I'm going to demonstrate some of the things for you. Yeah, and he said, are you ready to accelerate? You ready to see what the acceleration? I said, yeah, I'm ready. He said, you sure? I said, yeah, man, I drive the vet. And so we got to the freeway. Man, he hit that. That's why I say I had an experience. I don't call it no test drive. It was an experience. That man hit that accelerator, and man, them rides that they have at did you ever get on that thing that go round at the cake mixer or something, and the flow drop out of it, and it push you up against that, when you holding you against that wall because it's spinning like that? What they call it? The witch's wheel. The witch's wheel. Makes you think your heart's gonna stop. You're gonna pass out. Man, he hit that accelerator on that thing, and that thing pushed me back to that seat, and that's how my heart felt. That's how fast that thing moved, from 0 to 60 in 2 point something seconds. And I didn't tell him how I was about to pass out. anyway, I said, boy, this thing, so it can go. And then he started showing us some other things that he can do. This thing, you can set it on auto drive, and it drives itself. And I'm not talking about from satellite sending down a signal to it. It's all inside the car. Because I asked him, I said, you talking about from GPS out there to show you? He said, no, it's all self-contained. Ain't depending on no satellite to do nothing. And so I told him, this is the next stage of transportation for the whole thing. And I'm gonna bring him on, him and some other. We're gonna talk about the Tesla. All y'all need to you need to really go over there and see what they done came up with. I mean, it is magnificent. It's got some speeds on it. If you can adjust what it does, that's from 2 to get from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, in under 3 seconds. That's the speed they call ludicrous. I see why they call it ludicrous. Don't nobody need to go that fast. I can imagine how astronauts feel now. Because that thing was getting me. And it's got hydraulic lifts on it. Electrical lift that can raise it, let it down, and it comes stock with this stuff. Man, all I'm waiting on is to see what they lease for. And something else that Tesla has done, their patent on that. They have left it open so that all of the manufacturers of automobiles can just start manufacturing them cars if they want. Ain't that something? Man, we gonna have it going on pretty soon. No matter what question we ask that young man, and I got the check. He knew the answer. And the answers that he gave made all the sense in the world. I figured out that, I'm not no dummy. It don't take me long to figure out something. It's like when he told me about that auto driving itself, and he showed how that it shows on the screen the car that's in front of you, the car that's on the side of you, and it can go way back. I forgot how many hundreds of feet that he can tell what's behind you and all that kind of thing, and drive itself. You can set the cruise control, and that thing, it can change lanes. You hit the signal, it'll change lanes for you, and all that. And so I was just amazed at what our lot has blessed humanity with if we had sense enough to treat each other. As I told him, I said, I bet I know where this auto thing came from. It came from the airplane. The autopilot in the airplane, they just adapted it to a car. You know, the technology has always been there. The batteries for it, if you have to get, the batteries are guaranteed for 8 years. And if it, I mean, they replace it or do whatever needs to be done if for 8 years, or was it 8 years, or some ridiculous amount of miles, 150,000 miles or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it was just. I mean, in other words, it set your mind at peace that they ain't got no junk that they're trying to pawn off on you. And if you have to buy a new set of batteries, we found a short block for my vet that we paid about $2,000 for, and it was actually more than that. But you had to core it. You have to take the old engine and give it to them, the old short block. So it was about $2,400. You know how much the battery pack for the whole car, if you wanted to put a new one in there, was about $3,000. And the motor is good for over, what, 500,000, 1 million miles? And there ain't no motor in the place where the motor's supposed to be. I mean, that was an experience. I mean, it takes some doing to get me excited. But what excited me was not the car, but the knowledge of those people who made it. The knowledge of that this is available. And they're trying to keep it from you. Just like when you heard about the battery pack in one of them electric cars catching fire. Come to find out that the man had shot through the floor, and that's what set the fire. Some things didn't just burst into flames, but they never came back and told the people that's what happened. Look, you have got to start checking things out for yourself. Now, Tesla got the right idea. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the difference in a propeller plane and a jet. Now everybody's flying jets. Just think if they moved to complete electric cars. Now you talk about ending a lot of the pollution that's in there. You talk about, I mean, do you know haven't you ever been driving in traffic and you try to save yourself by putting your car on internal, that arrow that just lets you recirculate what's in your car? Because the fumes from all them cars were coming up in there and you could smell them. All that be done away with. The car takes a charge at one of those machines that charge them up, and they're all over the country. And you don't have to wonder where to go because it shows you where. You plan your route, it shows you where the charging places are and instructs you how to get there. And you can have them at home. Now, you don't take long trips every day. Most of us, we do all our driving roundabout in the city. A tank of gas will last me generally a week. But it's going to be $35, $40, depending on $40. These things, it'll take a 80% charge in 20 minutes. You supercharge it in about 40 minutes. to fill it all the way back up. When you breaking, it's putting electricity back into into your batteries to help keep it charged up. But man, it is a, I think all of them. I'm going to bring the man that's knowledgeable of this. Now you look what I learned in just a little one day. Yeah. Yeah, they built them because of the noise pollution. All them walls on the highway, they wouldn't even been needed for Tesla. And Tesla is not trying to put GM and Chrysler and none of the major manufacturers out of business. They've left the patent open. They can start retooling. Now I'm not saying you're gonna go straight from gasoline to but they've already seemed to get the message that they need to, because they got hybrids. But now you have a viable, dependable electric car, a design. And you know where the hood where your motor normally is? That's trunk space now. And you know where your trunk usually is? That's trunk space. The motor, the little electric motor, it's a little electric motor in the front and in the back, between the wheels. And I'm telling you, brother, that was an experience. Brother Derek can tell you. Oh, shoot. I told him I got to have. What did your mother and my brother got to have? Yeah, brother, that's what they're calling. No, they good. And I'm hoping that GM and Ford and Chrysler, they got to get on board with that. I thought he said 150,000 or 8 years. Well, we get him up there and let him. We'll even if we have to just let him call in, and because we can do that, But I definitely want the people to be able to talk to him. And I told him I was gonna help. Look, man, this is something that needs to happen. So if you haven't checked out a Tesla, you need to go and check it out. And I'm not saying that I don't like Toyota. I'm not saying I don't like Chryslers, because I have some of those vehicles. But when you see something that is better, and you give it an opportunity to get on board, get on board. What is it? Yeah, you don't hear of plants leaving patents open like that, but they understand that this is something that you can't keep to yourself. That's just intelligence. Yeah, I mean, what would you expect the people in the oil industry to do when you got a patent on something and they can't get in on it, but you want to put them out of business? No. But if they can get in on it, well, why not get in on it? So I'm looking forward to today. But anyway, it's late. I got to hit the highway, and so we gonna go ahead
hit the road. Uh, and I have really enjoyed my visit here. I thank Allah for this good weather that's up here. And so that's how it always has been when I go places. I'm so thankful that Allah always make it comfortable. You know, I thank the station. I want you to remember that we need this station. Whenever you can do something just like PBS, people, that's something that we want to look into doing this, setting up something where, you know, people can just donate, you know, something to help make sure the station stays here. You understand? That's what we need to do this. Look at all of those the group that I interviewed yesterday, the Undisputed Truth. Here we was able to talk with them. You were able to interact with celebrities. Don't you think that we need to keep the place open that will allow you to? So let's all do our part. All right? Okay. Mr. Watkins and Mr. Tyler have been sacrificing a good one. A good one. I should have brought Mr. Tyler on yesterday too. And that was just an oversight on our part. But I don't want nobody to feel slighted by us. You know, I appreciate all of them. You know, this is more than a notion. You got to know what you're doing to keep something like this. And why should I go try to start something like this when my brother already got something like this going? Why not just help him? Jealousy and envy is killing him. And if you don't get out of it, it's going to bury it. All right? So may Allah bless us all, keep us safe, and in our right mind. And I look forward to talking with you all again if the seeds of Allah wins. And Brother Derek, see if we can get the man to come on. He can come up here to the station if he feel like coming up here, and I'll interview him from down there. And then people can see. These Caucasian people, you know, that's no big thing. We done learn that we all family. Yeah. So, in no sense in tripping. They were just as cordial to us. They were just as decent. They were decent. You know, man didn't act like he wanted to hurry up and get us out of his face. So, you know, that's the kind of world that's coming in. And all of you that can't get ready for that, bye. So let's that's my skating partner, but he out last. So anyway, that's all right. I'm gonna exercise, and maybe I can hang. Anyway, I will let y'all go, and I have really enjoyed it. I thank you, even those who had disrespectful things to say, because you're not really thinking about doing that anymore. I don't want you sitting up in hell. I don't like that. I would much rather us just be kind to one another.
You can disagree with people without hating them. Disagree, argue about it, and whichever argument holds the best weight, both of you adopt that, and now you gain the brother. So we ain't got to be walking around here keep insulting each other. You see how ugly that looks. Every time you turn on the news, they on there, people supposed to be setting an example in positions of government, and they there insulting people. Get up in front of the whole nation of people and just tell a bold-faced lie and know that everybody know they lie. But they don't care. Now you see how ugly that looks. It would be just as ugly if we do it. It don't get pretty because somebody else doing it. So let's don't be like that. Yeah. Yes, we're gonna be next month. We're gonna be here at studio at Virgin Island Studio at 160 Victor. One what? 150. Okay, 150 Victor. And you find the station, you'll know where to go. So you know where the station is. Just ease on down the road and come on here and let's have safety stay together. I'm not gonna hold you no great long time. I'm gonna give you the history of the Nation of Islam, and then I'm gonna let you go. You know, I don't think we need to. We just want to let you know that ain't nothing stopped. We're doing just what the messenger said. That we are rebuilding it, and it's not gonna fall no more. Because what you thought was the Nation of Islam was not the Nation of Islam. It was the foundation being laid for a new Nation of Islam. And this is the new Nation of Islam, and I'm the head of it. Everything that's alive, if it wants to live, it got to come head first. And I'm the head of the new Nation of Islam. So I'm going to let you go. And I'll look forward to us talking with each other again Wednesday. Until then, may Allah grant us peace and keep us in our right mind. Remember, the mind is over, game over. May Allah salam alaikum.
Your conference recording has stopped. This session is no longer being recorded. Goodbye. Goodbye.